Do you find yourself constantly worrying about the future, dwelling on past mistakes, or avoiding new experiences due to fear? These could be signs that fear is holding you back from living the best life.
Absolutely. Danny, today we're diving into the topic of living in fear and exploring strategies to reclaim your sense of peace and empowerment. So come along and join us today.
Hi there, everyone, and welcome back to the Joy Without Justification podcast. We are your one-stop spot for finding peace, purpose, and presence. No explanation is needed. I'm your host, Denny.
And I'm your co-host, Dan. We all experience fear sometimes. It's natural human emotion that can keep us from danger. But what happens when fear starts to control our lives?
Yeah. Fear can manifest in many ways. It might be the crippling anxiety like you sometimes go through before a big presentation, the constant worry about losing your job, or the fear of failure. And that really keeps a lot of us from pursuing our dreams.
Yeah, while some fear is healthy, it becomes a problem when it becomes debilitating and prevents you from living a fulfilling life.
Exactly. Living in fear can take a toll on us mentally, physically. It can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even sometimes physical health problems.
It can also isolate you from others and prevent you from experiencing new and exciting things.
So, the key to understanding fear is often based on what ifs. A lot of that. There's a lot of what ifs and worst case scenarios. So it's about learning to navigate fear, but not eliminate it entirely.
So how do we stop fear from taking control? So here's a few actionable steps.
Well, first, you need to identify your fear and its root cause. What are you afraid of? What makes this fear specifically paralyzing?
And once you understand the source, you can start to challenge the negative thoughts associated with it. Are these fears realistic?
And practice mindfulness. I mean, you do that a lot, and that's helped you a lot with your anxiety issues you've had. Yeah. Practice mindfulness techniques. Meditation, deep breathing. These can help calm the nervous system and break the cycle of anxiety.
And focus on the present moment. Worrying about the future and dwelling on the past only fuels fear.
Exactly. Take small, courageous. I haven't had my coffee yet, everyone. You need to excuse me. But take small, courageous steps towards your goals. I mean, some of the biggest things that have happened in our history were people that took that chance.
Yeah.
They may have had those fears, but they took those courageous steps forward and advanced.
Yeah.
To bring us sort of where we are now.
Yeah.
And facing your fears head on, even in small doses. I mean, you may have a big issue to sit there in front of you, but take small pieces of it and deal with the small pieces at a time.
Yep, break it down, absolutely.
And that can help build your confidence and resilience.
And don't be afraid to seek professional help. Therapy can be a valuable tool in learning to manage fear and develop healthy coping mechanisms.
And that is true. That is true. Talking to somebody that either understands it, what you're going through, or has maybe gone through what you're going through, is a big help. Sometimes just talking things out is a big help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So remember, though, courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means taking action in spite of it.
Absolutely. And by acknowledging your fears, developing coping mechanisms, and practicing courage, you can reclaim control of your life and live with more peace and joy.
Yeah. So what really has been a crippling fear to you?
Me, oh geez, I've had some, I guess fear of failure is my biggest fear. That's, I think, what I struggle with my whole life.
That's probably a big one for everybody.
Yeah, I imagine
is that
so.
fear of failure. I mean, you've got people who want to do good and bring their families into a good life.
Yeah. Well, I don't even know that I mean it necessarily in that way. More of a fear of, for my own personal self. It's a fear of failure, fear of rejection, those kinds of things. I think I've carried with me most of my whole life.
Now, do you think part of that fear is possibly brought on because you're so worried what other people are going to think?
I think it's a fear that was ingrained to me because I went through some mental abuse when I was young, and being part of that cult, that really, builds a certain amount of perfectionism in your mind that you have to achieve, I guess, and that's probably where my fear stemmed from. It's not as bad as has been, and my anxiety certainly is not where it used to be.
Oh, and that's why, like we said, you have really taken a lot of big steps since you've been taking that time to meditate at night. You even throughout the day, you have an alarm that goes off every so often on your phone to remind you to take that deep breath.
Yep.
And to relax and to start focusing more on the present and less on worrying what's going to happen or what has happened.
Right. Because you really can't change anything that happened in your past. You just cannot. So even worrying about it, and it happens to all of us. I was meditating the other night, and I had some regrets come up in my mind, and I had to just acknowledge they were there. I had to just say, I did the best I could at that time with the knowledge I had and move on from it.
Yep.
And I can worry about what I think is going to happen in the future all day long. And I was a hypervigilant, anxious person. So that's just been part of my culture and makeup, I guess, for the last 57 years. But it's not going to change anything. If what's going to happen is going to happen, worrying about it's just stealing today's joy.
Yeah.
Yes, it's okay to be concerned. It's okay to make plans. But then when you get to that point in the future where you think that was going to happen, most of the time it doesn't happen the way you thought it was anyway. So then you just spent all that time worrying about an assumed outcome that didn't even come to pass. So you just let it steal your whole joy. So as much as I can throughout the day, when my mind starts to wander into thoughts, I try to bring it back into the present moment as much as I can. When I realize my mind's out there, especially if it's in negative territory, I just bring it to the present moment and, do something like turn on some good music or something to get my frame of mind switched back, because you can't stop what's going to happen.
No. See, mine is not so much of a failure, but mine is more of a financial thing. Yeah, in my past, and I've been like probably a lot of our listeners out there, where, I was young. I did a lot of running around and everything. And sometimes bills didn't get paid
Sneak up on you.
And then I wound up calling my dad and asking him for help and everything. And getting the speech, I'm tired of bailing you out, yada, yada, yada. But then it got to one point in my life, and I've probably told this story before, where I worked at a facility when I was living in Shamokin. I worked at a facility in Sunbury, Pennsylvania. And we were, getting canceled because the census was getting low and everything. And so I wasn't bringing home a full paycheck a lot of times. And I was worried, I'm going to get these bills paid. My dad lives all the way in Penfield.
Yeah.
I can't expect him to drive down here and bring me money and wait for it to get here in the mail or whatever. I had bills to pay. And the social worker at that facility told me one thing, and that's what I've started living by when it comes to a financial worry, is there's always tomorrow.
Yeah.
There is always tomorrow. What you cannot do today, you can take care of tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And so when I go to pay bills during a pay period, I just start thinking of that.
Yeah.
There is always a tomorrow.
Yep.
I may not be able to pay this bill this pay. It may have to wait till next pay.
I think wasn't there a song in a cartoon, There's Always Tomorrow?
That's on Rudolph.
Oh, Rudolph, okay. I knew it was back here in my brain.
We're far past Christmas. Let's not go back there again.
It was Clarice singing it.
Oh,
There's always tomorrow.
Don't get us copyrighted. My God. But yeah. And that's what helps me when that anxiety hits that, oh my God, we don't have enough money to pay these bills.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't pay everything in one pay.
Yep.
There's going to be another pay.
Yep. Yep.
And that's when that bill will have to get paid.
Yep.
And that's all.
Yep. If we can't control it, there's no use fretting about it. And I know that doesn't sound logical. And believe me, people used to tell me that all the time. My brother, nothing ever bothered my brother. Nothing. And I'd be fretting about getting laid off or whatever. And he's like, can you stop it? And I'm like, no. And he's like, then don't worry about it. And I just you gotta worry about it because blah, blah, blah. But I'm learning that. I mean, you can't change it. It's right. If you know it's going to happen, especially if it's a done deal and you know it's going to happen, something like that. But you can start planning other things.
But on that note, what are some of your fears? What holds you back? Share them in the comments below, or even email us at joywithoutjustification@gmail.com. We would love to hear your story. So thank you for joining us today.
And tune in and listen to us on our next podcast. We would love to have you along with us.
And what will we be talking about?
I think, tell me if I'm right, selling out?
Yep.
Okay.
Selling out and integrity. So until then, remember, courage is the key to unlocking your full potential. Don't let fear hold you back. Stay positive, stay joyful, go out there, enjoy life, live it bravely, and peace out.